Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Sounds a little better. Sorry, there was a sound issue on my computer. It was not working properly.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. No, it's still not working properly. I'm sorry. My laptop sound is gone. I can hear, but I can it's completely crackly.
Voice is broken, Mukesh bhai.
Yeah. Sound. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm just trying.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay,
Hare
that's
Krishna.
that's working, right? That's better. But the problem is my laptop is almost out of battery, and as soon as I plug it in, the sound seems to go. Let me try again. Now it's clear, right?
I
Can
can
you-
hear you.
Prabhuji.
It is better.
We can
Okay,
hear
now
you.
I'm going to try and plug it, because if I don't plug in, the laptop is going to die. So let me just plug it in and see what happens. Is it still clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Thank
Yes.
God for that. Thank God for that. Okay. Because somehow with Zoom, my laptop does this once in a while. When it's on charge, it will start making really weird sounds, and you can't hear anybody. I don't know why it does that.
તમારો ફોટો અહીંયા બતાવો હોય.
Oh, sorry. કોને બતાવે છે? ભરતભાઈ?
હાજી.
Were you saying photo batao?
Sorry, my wife.
Okay.
Talking to my wife. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Hare Krishna, everybody. Sorry about the slight glitch in the beginning. As long as it keeps working, that's the main thing. So welcome once again to everybody. So we've had Diva Gaurangi Mataji reciting the verses so beautifully, so expertly over the last few days. So today, with her permission, I'm going to give other people the chance to see if to do it. So I will just request today, Madhukumari Mataji. Are you there? I can't see you. Are you there, Madhukumari?
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, okay, now I can see you, yes. I can see your name, I still can't see you.
Because
So
I
anyway.
haven't started the video.
All right, okay, no problem. So Madhukumari will recite. Now, I know Santosh Mataji again very nicely recited the English translation. Is Santosh Mataji here? Okay, looks like he's not. Is there anybody else who wants to do English?
I can try, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hema Mataji. Okay, so we'll do Hema Mataji. We'll do English, and Madhukumari will do the translation. Sorry, the Sanskrit. Let me just share the screen with you.
Would you please mute also everybody?
Yes, let me do that. Okay, everybody is muted, so you can go. I'll mute myself as well. Sorry, I need to unmute Hema Mataji.
And Prabhuji, your screen is on verse 9-10.
Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. Let me just, Hema Mataji, can you unmute yourself, because I can't do it from here?
Yes, I've
Okay,
done that.
that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Should I start?
Yes, please.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Atah Navamo Adhyaya 9.1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam tu te guhyattamam pravakshyami anusyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajjatva mokshayase subhat.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjun, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realizations, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence."
9.2 Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyasha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam.
This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed.
अश् अश्रद्धाधानपुरुषा धर्मस्यास्य परन्तपा अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि.
Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world.
9.4 Maya tatamidam sharvam jagatavyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham te shavastitaha.
By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them.
9.5 Na cha matsthani bhutani paschame yogameshwaram bhuta bhrinna cha bhutastho mamatma bhuta bhavanaha.
And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation.
9.6 Yathaksha sthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tatha sarvani bhutani matsthani ti upadharaya.
Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me.
9.7 Sarva bhutani konteya prakritim yantin mamikam kalpakshe punastani kalpadau vischarjamiham.
O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again.
9.8 Prakritim swam avastabhya vrishchami punah punah bhutagramam imam krishnam avasam prakritirvasat.
The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end.
9.9 Na cha mam tani karmani nibadhananti dhananjaya udasinaya vad ashinam asaktam teshu karmasu.
O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I'm ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral.
9.10 Maya dakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetu nanena kaunteya jagadvi parivartate.
This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my discretion, under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
9.11 Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanunashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram.
Fools deride me when I descend in human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that be.
9.12 Mogha sha mogha karmano mogha jnana vichetasaha rakshashim ashurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shrita.
Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demoniac and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes are for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated.
9.13 Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha bhajanti ananya manso gyatva bhutadim avyayam.
O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible.
9:14. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavritah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upashate.
Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion.
9.15. Jnana yagnena chapi anye yajanto mamupashate ekatvena prithakvena bahuda vishvato mukham.
Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form.
9.16. Aham kritur aham yajna swadha aham aushadham mantroham aham eva jayam aham agniraham hutam.
But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering.
9.17. Pitaham asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksamaya jurevacha.
I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajurvedas.
9.18. Gatir bharta prabhu shakshi nivasa sharanam suhurit prabhava pralaya sthanam nidhanam bijam avyayam.
I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and the eternal seed.
9.19. Tapyami yahamaham varsham nignani utrjami cha amritam chaiva mrityuscha tapashastraham arjuna.
O Arjun, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me.
9.20. Traividyamam somam paputa papa yajneristva svargatim prarthayante te punyamashadya surendra lokam ashnanti divyan divideva bhogan.
Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planets of Indra, where they might enjoy godly delights.
9.21. Te tam bhuktva svargalokam vishalam shrine punyamarte lokam vishanti evam traidharma manu prapanna gata kama kama labhante.
When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasures and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death.
9.22. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupassate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogashemam vahamyaham.
But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
9.23. Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante shratyayanvitaha tepi mameva kaunteya yajanti avidyat purvakam.
Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in the wrong way.
Aham hi 9.24. Aham hi sarvayajnanam bhokta cha prabhurev cha na tu mam abhijananti tatvena taschavanti te.
I'm the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down.
925. Yanti deva vrita devan pitrin yanti pitravratah bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti mam yajinopi mam.
Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me.
926. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati taddaham bhaktya upahritam asnami prayatatmanah.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it.
927. Yat karosi yadasnasi yajjuhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi konteya tat kurushva madarpanam.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
928. Subha subha palerevam mokshaya se karma bandhane sanyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mamupaschashi.
In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me.
929. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name devshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapiyaham.
I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him.
930. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhak sadhureva samantyavya samyak vivashito hi sa.
Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in this determination.
931. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvashantem nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktya pranashyati.
He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes.
932. Mam hi parthavyabhashritya yepi syu yonaya striyo vaishyas tatha shudras tepi yanti param gatim.
O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Sudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination.
933. Kim punar brahmana punya bhaktarajarsayastata anityam ashukam lokam imam prapya bhajasva mam.
How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me.
934. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vashyasi yuktvaivam atmanam mat parayanaha.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisance to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Om Tat Sat iti Shri Bhagavad Gita Shu Upanishadu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Rajavidya Rajakuriya Yogonam Navamo Adhyaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Very, very nice. Thank you, Hemamati. Thank you, Madhu Kumari Mataji. Both of you did very, very well. Thank you so much. These verses, some of these verses are a little bit of tongue twisters. So it's quite quite well that you did. Thank you so much. Let me just stop sharing this. And let me share the verse. So today we will be focusing on the fourth verse. So we'll recite it together and then go on to the purport, and then we will go and discuss part of the purport. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, text 4. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani sarva bhutani na chaham teshvavashtitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriye. Sevam mukhe jivhadau swayam eva skurat yada. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Lord Shri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance, he is revealed. In the Brahma Samhita 538, it is stated, Ramanjana Churita Bhakti Bilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Bilokayanti. One who can see this, one can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, always within himself and outside himself, if one has deployed the transcendental loving attitude, developed, my wife is here correcting me, developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, he is not visible. Here it is said that although he is all-pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by material senses. This is indicated here by the word avyakta murtina. But actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of his two different energies, the superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sun's shine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. Yet, one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I'm everywhere and everything is in me, but I am not, but I am aloof. But still I am aloof. For example, a king heads a government which is but the manifestation of king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king. And each department is resting on the king's power. But still, one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in the material world and in the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. the creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies. And as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vishtabhyam, Vishtabhyaham idam Krishnam. He is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinanine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Share my PowerPoint now. The computer is really working slowly today for some reason. Okay, so chapter 9, here we go. So the most confidential knowledge, and the chapter, which is the beginning, but it's still good to quickly do a summary. The verses 1 to 3 spoke about the eligibility and the knowledge. The verse 1 spoke about the eligibility for being, to receive devotional knowledge was being not envious and being faithful. These are the eligibility. And then the verse 2, Krishna explained that the knowledge is the king of education. It is the most sacred, it's the most sacred, what else? Purest knowledge, the perfection of religion, everlasting and joyful. So it's performed joyfully. So this was verse 2. And then verse 3 we discussed yesterday, and that speaks about the people who can't develop devotional service. And Krishna said that it is those who are not faithful in devotional service.
Sorry,
Very
crackly.
Hare Krishna, having glorified devotional service, having glorified the knowledge rather, Krishna is now going to the next section, and this is the section from 4 to 10. So just for your information, these sections, I have sort of looked through them and I've divided them this way. Other people may divide them slightly differently, so it doesn't really matter. But this is how, to me, they look like they're bunched together. So 4 to 10 talk about Krishna's Achintya Bheda situation, where Krishna would talk about his relationship with the material world, starting from this text 4 that we will discuss today. Achintya Bheda Tattva, that, as you might know, this is the philosophy that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propounded, because it's a question of Achintya Bheda means inconceivably, simultaneously, same and different. So it's like a contradiction there in that phrase itself. But this is how you can understand Krishna, because it is so difficult to understand tattva. So inconceivably, how was it? Inconceivably, simultaneously, same and different. That's the Achintya Bheda. So as we go through these verses, this phrase will become more and more clear. So this verse we recited just now, so I'll just recite the translation once again. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So the critical words in this verse are avyakta murtina. The Prabhupada says, Prabhupada translates this as by the unmanifested. So basically, it's the Lord's subtle form as the spiritual, say, substratum that's pervading the whole existence. Everything that we see, everything that is in the universe is everywhere. It is all resting on this subtle expansion or substratum of the Lord. And the other words in this text, Sarva Bhutani. Sarva Bhutani means that all living entities. So not just human beings, but all living entities, starting from Brahma all the way down to the small ant or even a blade of grass. So all living entities are covered like this. So all living entities are in me, Krishna says. So the main points, we again, as I said, we will try and churn the main points of the purport. Prabhupada is saying initially that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through our gross senses. So one of the names of Lord Krishna is Adokshaja. Adokshaja means something that is not perceivable, something that is not recognizable by our senses. Our senses are limited. Human beings' senses are not just they're limited, but they're also faulty. So we cannot perceive the Supreme Lord through our dull senses. Later on in the purport, Prabhupada explains in which way you can see Krishna. That will come to in a minute. And then Prabhupada quotes this beautiful verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nampavet Grahyam Indriye Sevan Mukhe Hijivadav Swayam Eva Spurat Yada. So Krishna's name, fame, forms, pastimes, all those things are not understandable by Graham Indriye, which means dull senses. Our senses are dull, our senses are contaminated, our senses are conditioned. So difficult to see Krishna with those senses. But this verse says that when our senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, starting from the tongue, he says, Jivha do. Jivha means tongue, ado, beginning. So we start with the tongue. Why do we start with the tongue? So it is explained by the Acharyas that of all our senses, the tongue is the most voracious. So the tongue has all our senses have got one thing they can do. Eyes can see, the ears can hear, nose can smell, the skin can touch. But the tongue does two activities. The tongue tastes food and the tongue vibrates sound. So we speak and we eat. So these are the two things that the tongue does. So it is said that if we control the tongue, then all the other senses become easier to control. So this is why in this particular verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami is emphasizing on the fact that we should engage our senses in the service of the Lord, beginning from the tongue. So we have to taste Krishna Prasadam, and we have to chant his names and sing his glories with our tongue. So this is the purport of that verse. So then, who is Krishna revealed to? Let's see if anybody remembers what Prabhupada said in the purport. Who is Krishna revealed to? Anybody?
Those who approach him with pure devotion.
Devotees?
Devotees, yeah.
Pure devotee, yes. The devotees, sure, but Rajesh Prabhu made the right connection, is pure devotion service. So this is the exact word Prabhupada uses, only to who is engaged in pure devotion service under proper guidance, you see. So devotion service is one thing, but we need to be under proper guidance. This is very important. A lot of people, you will meet people who will say to you, "Oh, I don't need a guru. I don't need anyone to teach me. I can read myself. I'm intelligent. I've got the Bhagavad Gita. I know that I've read it 10 times." So many people will say these kind of things, and they completely feel that they can do everything, right? But when you think about it, even for our mundane things, we need a teacher. How many of us taught ourselves how to drive? Actually, yeah, maybe some of us could have taught ourselves just by observing our fathers or our uncles. Maybe we taught ourselves to drive. But anything that we do, we go to school to learn languages, all that. We need teachers for all those things, right? So how can somebody illogically say that for something which is so easily available in the material world, we need teachers, then how come we don't need a teacher for something spiritual, which is beyond our senses? We don't need a guru, they say, right? So it is like, saying that I don't need to go to university and to medical college to become a doctor. I can just buy a book and read the book, and I'll become a doctor. So if I've read a book and I've actually read about how to perform operations, will somebody let me go and operate on him just because I've read the book? No. So the guru, because you have to go to a medical guru to learn the science. So similarly, the devotional service should be performed under proper guidance, under a proper guru. And we, a couple of classes ago, 2-3 classes ago, we discussed about the parampara system. We have to make sure that we're connected to the parampara and the right parampara. There's so many pseudo religions around that we must be careful not to be cheated. So then Prabhupada quotes the first half of this very beautiful Brahma Samhita verse. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Premanjana churita. So prema, we understand love, of course. Anjana, we also, I think in Hindi, Gujarati, we say anjan, which is like the black stuff we put in, the ladies put in the eyes. Used to put, I don't think nowadays is very popular, but in the old days they used to. So anjana, premanjana, churita, so anointed. So bhakti vilochanena, so what your eyes anointed with the salve of love of God. Right? And Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu, so devotees who are like that, Sadaiva, always, Hridayeshu, within their heart, Viloka Yanti, they will be seeing. And what will they be seeing? Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam. You'll be seeing Shama Sundar within the heart. This is what we will be seeing. Once we have pure love in our heart, then that heart will transform itself into the salve of love, like an ointment for our eyes. And with those eyes, we can then see Sham Sundar in our heart. And those eyes, we're not talking about these physical eyes. These eyes we have now, they're material. They are not fit. We cannot see the Lord with those eyes. Unless the Lord is very, very merciful and He has given His darshan to those eyes, to people, to devotees. We know that, exalted devotees. But for us, in this particular verse, what Acharya has explained is the eyes, they are referring to the eyes of the soul. Our soul has also, as we have our limbs of the body and we have everything, our soul also, because actually our body is an expansion, it's a covering for the soul. It is explained just like this shirt that I'm wearing. It is this shape because my body is this shape, right? If I was a lot slimmer, this shirt will be also slimmer. Similarly, our body is shaped around the soul. So our soul has got arms. Of course, they are not visible to us, but that's why we have arms. Similarly, the soul has eyes, and with those eyes covered, at the moment they're not, even our soul's eyes, although the soul is so pure, but because he's covered by Maya, he is not able to see. But once the eyes are anointed with the love of God, then you can see Sham Sundara. The other interesting thing here, when I was studying this verse, was Sham Sundaram. So Sham Sundara generally refers to Lord Krishna holding the flute, doesn't it? Lord Krishna holding the flute in the Tribhanga form. That's Sham Sundaram. But when you talk about within the heart, we generally talk about the super soul, the four-armed Vishnu form, isn't it? So how come we're talking about Sham Sundara in the heart? So again, in one very nice lecture, the devotee once explained that when, first of all, of course, a non-devotee doesn't see anything. But a devotee, when he starts to meditate and he gets to the stage of realizing the super soul, and by deep meditation and a lot of many years of practice, he will see the four-armed super soul within the heart. And then it is said that after developing love for Krishna and getting more closer to that form, he will start to see the form of Lord Krishna in his heart. Right? But it doesn't stop there. It is said that finally, when you are in real pure love, you're in ecstasy, then at that time you will see Radha and Krishna together in your heart. That is the perfection for devotees, especially for us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas. This is we never want to see Krishna on his own. We want to see Krishna always with Radha. This is the perfection of seeing the Lord within ourselves. So here's a translation of this verse. I worship Govinda, the forever Lord, who is Shyam Sundara Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in the heart of their hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. One of the most beautiful verses. I think a lot of people, you know it. If you don't know this, try and learn it. It's so nice to recite. Then one other verse that came to mind about how we can't see Krishna is there everywhere, but we don't see him. And this beautiful verse in the 7th chapter we just recently finished, where it says, Mata parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre maningana eva. So here in this verse is explained that as a conqueror of wealth, this is parantapa, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So you can see this nice, beautiful pearl necklace, but can we see the thread? No, we can just see the beautiful pearls. So similarly, what we see around us, we can see that everything is there, but we can't see the thread. The thread is Krishna. Everything is held together by the Supreme Lord. Very, very nice analogy there. Then in the Prabhupada mentions in the purport about the 7th chapter, where the two different energies, the combination of the material energies and the superior spiritual energy are discussed. Time is very short, so we won't do the Sanskrit, we'll just do the English. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. All together, these 8 constitute my separated material energies. So here Krishna is describing the material energies. Next verse, he says, beside these, Almighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine, which comprises of the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So now he's describing us, the living entities, and we are superior to the material, to the matter. So because we are superior to matter, then Krishna is separating us. So here is the dull matter, and we are his energy, we are superior energy. And because we are spiritual, we are not matter. So then in the 6th verse, he says, all created beings have the source in the two natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the beginning and the dissolution. So Krishna here is declaring in these verses, Prabhupada referred to these verses in the purport, declaring Krishna's relationship with this world. And then he gives a nice analogy about how the sunshine is spread all over the creation and all the universes are resting in the sunshine. Similarly, all of creation is resting in his energy. Nice, lovely energies. Prabhupada actually is expert with giving beautiful energies. Then he says, yet one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. This is very important. Krishna is spread all over, but yet he's there. It is not that he is actually, because he's now spread all over, he himself has lost his identity. That's not important to understand. The example Prabhupada gives here is the king and his different governmental departments. So the king may be in his palace, but everything's working because of his powers. So he doesn't have to be in every department, yet everything's working under his power. So just quickly, I want to go through a couple of Eastern philosophies that we know of. So there is something called the Parinamvada. So these people, people who follow this philosophy, they believe in transformation. So what they believe in is that just as milk in contact with acid turns or transforms into yogurt, they believe that yes, the Lord is supreme, but when he comes to the material world, he is transformed into a human being, because it's just like milk is transformed from yogurt. It cannot go back to milk. They feel that now he's lost his here. The milk has lost its nature as milk, but they also believe that Krishna also is now no longer Krishna because he's become one of us. So this Parinamvad. They believe that he is still very, very powerful, but he's no longer the supreme because he's come down here. The other path is Vivartavad. The Vivartavad talks about that this material nature actually is, their philosophy is like the snake and the rope. They say that we mistake, just like in the darkness, we may mistake the snake a rope to be a snake. So similarly, they say that this material world actually is false. Nothing exists. Only God exists, but this material world is false. And because we are covered in Maya, we are here. And once we are uncovered, we become one with the Lord. This is their philosophy. But the Krishna conscious philosophy doesn't agree with this, and we believe that the Lord does not lose his existence. And the verse in the invocation for Ishopanishad enforces this view. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udatyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. So if you imagine, so he is complete. If you take a piece of paper which is complete and you rip it up in 100 pieces, all you've got left is the pieces. The paper is gone. But the Lord is not material like the piece of paper. He is spiritual. So he can expand himself into billions and billions, and yet he remains the same. He remains the complete. And this is the important thing to remember. Let me see what else I've got. Yeah, Prabhupada quotes this beautiful verse from the 10th canto towards the end. He says, but what, see here, before in the 10th chapter, before these verses, Krishna has explained his opulences to Arjuna in depth, many verses talking about who I am. And then he says, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? He says, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So this is how we will conclude today's class. No, one more thing, sorry. So I'm sorry, we're running a little bit late, but this is important to remember, to understand. In this verse, Krishna says, all beings are in me, but I am not in them. So can anybody explain this? Because we all understand, we all learn that the Lord resides within the heart of our living beings. So yes, they are all in me. Yes, we can understand that we are all eventually will be in Krishna. But how do we understand that he is not in them?
Is it because he's permanently in Goloka Vrindavan?
That's true. That's true also, because he's always there. But then I would say, but yeah, he's there. But just as we were discussing earlier, as his expansion, he is in me. He is in each and every one of us.
Is it the Achinta Veda that Mukunda Prabhu?
Yes, Palika Mataji, you can probably explain it this way as well. But even with Achinta Veda, you can still say, but how can you say that I'm not in it?
I think.
Is it? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
No, you go ahead, please.
I was just about to say, like, it's a bit like I'm in London, but London is not in me.
Yes, okay, that of course is quite natural. But what we are saying, I'll keep that at being a devil's advocate. I will say, but all the Vedas say that the Lord resides in your heart.
Yeah, is it actually?
Is it that he's not linked to the body? He's not linked to the body.
Ah, that is more like it. Hema Mataji, that's very 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. There you go. So there is a beautiful statement by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. which says that I am their cause, but I'm not situated in all these entities as clay is present in his product, such as pots, because I'm completely disinterested. The word he used, disinterested, means he is not actually at all connected. So like Hemamataji said, this clay turns into a pot. The clay is very much part of his pot rather. But although the Lord is within us, but he is completely spiritual. He has got absolutely nothing to do with our body. So in that sense, he's not in us. And he's not in our body. He's not in our flesh. He's not in our skin like that. You see what I mean? He's there as a spiritual being within our heart, but he's completely separate in his identity, not shown with our body. Thank you so much. I think we will end now. It's overrun. But any questions, any comments, anybody?
Prabhuji, this was quite powerful. I've been trying to understand the meaning of this particular thing for the last 3-4 years. I asked many people, but this, all beings are in me, but I'm not in them because I'm completely spiritual in you.
Yes.
Not as flesh, physical, and this is such a revelation. Thank you.
Makes so much sense, isn't it? Yeah. So Bhishma Thakur really sort of clarified it so nicely.
Hare Krishna Mukunda Hari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Palika Mataji.
We just had, and I don't want to undermine anybody, I just had another explanation. Another devotee has explained about the time into different, like material here, the time and the Brahmalok time and this and the demigod time and the time in a spiritual world where Krishna lives. The time difference is very different. Our time here, Krishna's time over the spiritual world is very different. So actually when Krishna comes, actually he never comes because the time difference is such a small amount. So he is here but not here. That's the way he was trying to explain. Because of the time, because now also what you say, like in Brahmaloka, when Brahma speaks, that speech, when he speaks, that's by the time it comes here, we will just see him as if he was opening the mouth, because it will take time. I don't know whether I'm sort of explaining the way, this is how I understood, because of the time difference, because Krishna's time and our time is so much difference. Though he is here, but he's not here. This is how it was.
Yeah, sure. So there are so many different explanations. That this time situation is the fact that Krishna, the time in the spiritual world, as it doesn't have time. Time doesn't exist there as we know it here. But yeah, from Brahma's point of view, yes, I can understand that. From Brahmaji's lifetime, our lifetime is so short that it doesn't matter. Yes, but the point I was trying to make is we read in everywhere we read, we hear about the Lord being within the heart of every living entity. So even for a short time, even for a fraction of a second, he is there.
Can I say something, Prabhuji?
Yes, Madhukumari Mataji.
So I was recently listening to the lecture from the Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, where it talks about all the incarnations. And so what is being explained is that Krishna has got, like how we've got these forms, gross and subtle. So when we are talking about the universe, like it is his subtle form, and all these are like his gross and subtle forms.
Yes.
But he is still as the super soul. So how it is described that how we have our gross form, which is the body, then we have the subtle form, the mind, ego, and whatever else, and then we have the soul.
Yes.
Same way, this whole universe is the gross form of Krishna, but his spiritual form, which is the super soul, is the spiritual form.
Yes.
And that is how he's, like you said rightly, and that it's explained that this all is the gross, but the spiritual, it is all covering the spiritual form, which is the super soul, and that's how he is in all of us.
Yes, yes. So that's fine, exactly. So that is nicely clarified, Madhukumari, that yes, he's there. He's there in a spiritual form. And this is the point that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is making, that he's there. This is why he's not part of you. He's not part of your body. That's why he's there. He's saying he's not in you. He's not in your flesh. He's not in your, like that. But thank you. Thank you all for your contributions. We've got 2 minutes. Any last minute thoughts? And once again, thank you very much for Madhu Kumari and Hema Mataji for reciting the verses so nicely.
Prabhuji, can I just say that, you know, where you said who is Krishna revealed to, and it said that only the one who is engaged in pure devotional service.
Yes.
And as I was reading Canto 3 in Brahma's creation, and there Brahmaji was saying that no matter how much endeavor, personal endeavor or devotion one has, or performs whatever penance, the only way Lord reveals is through his mercy.
Yes, yes, of course. Of course. This is such a nice point, actually, Hema Mataji.
Brahmaji had all this, he went to the bottom and looked at the bottom.
Yes. Until he got the mercy, he cannot. So that's this, of course, it is always there that everything, any progress we make in the spiritual, in the future life, cannot happen without the mercy. But this is why Hema Mataji, in that line that Prabhupada mentions, I haven't got it in front of me, but he says with proper guidance, meaning that if you are under the guidance of a spiritual master, then you have his mercy. And if you have the mercy of the spiritual master, you automatically have the mercy of the Lord. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasada.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Mukunda Prabhu. Just wanted to mention, I mean, it's so nice that, you know, the devotees are coming forward and reciting the verses, and there's somebody doing the English. I think it's a very wonderful idea to have this service if people wanted to.
Yes, yes.
So that we can all get service and we get purified. So
exactly.
If anybody is, I was thinking about that for some time ago. I mean, it's just coming because I wanted that, you know, how Krishna fulfill your desire.
So Palika Mataji, are you volunteering for the next time?
I don't mind next tomorrow.
Okay, so I will, thank you.
Tomorrow I have a Sangha, so it will be difficult. Maybe another day.
Okay, then what you do?
Prabhuji, I can do. Prabhuji, English translation I can do.
Okay, Shabani Mataji. So do me a favor, because like today is mine, tomorrow I'm not sure who's doing the class. So just put it on a group that I'm volunteering for this, and then that whoever devotee is doing that, they can pick up on that.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
I actually suggested this to Mukundari Prabhu this afternoon, that please ask other devotees to volunteer so that everybody can recite.
Yeah, I think it's such a good thing, because these verses are spiritual vibration, filled with spiritual sound vibration. And by hearing is already so beneficial. But by us, even we make some mistakes, doesn't matter, because it's for us also, right? So if we can try and recite them, you get so much mercy, so much mercy.
Prabhuji, there's just one thing. Some people keep asking that, you know, where did you learn the Sanskrit? Maybe you could just tell them that we don't need to know the Sanskrit because it is written in English and we just have to read that. So everybody can actually recite the verses.
Yeah, exactly. Let me take a couple of minutes. I will just explain this, right?
Yeah.
Learning Sanskrit is a very, very difficult thing, right? Now, I can't see everybody on the screen here. There's 60, 70 of you. And of course, very different ages. But if you are anywhere over 20 years old, I say, right, I would say that you will be making it very difficult for yourself. Learning Sanskrit is easier when you're very, very young, because it is said just to learn the grammar, it takes us 12 years, right? And so forget about learning Sanskrit. What Prabhupada always said, if people had the inclination, some people actually came to the moment and they already had some background in Sanskrit, then Prabhupada encouraged them, okay, go and learn. Otherwise, Prabhupada was not in favor of it. Don't learn Sanskrit. Just because Prabhupada and the devotees have actually translated everything so nicely, even the diacritics on the thing, you can actually do sh, whatever, so nicely. So you can learn just to learn how to read those diacritics, right? And if you can read Hindi, then you can also read the Sanskrit quite easily. So that way you can learn. And by then practicing all these verses, gradually, because a lot of words will be repeated, you will gradually build up a bank of memory of different words, which will then help you to memorize the verses. So this is how you do. I mean, I don't know Sanskrit at all. I've just learned whatever I know, all the verses, by reading Prabhupada's books, right? So just to give you a small example, Sripad Sankaracharya, there's a story from his path that one time he was outside a temple and there was an old man really engrossed and look at some scripture. So he stopped and he said, "What are you doing?" So this person says, "I'm trying to learn Sanskrit." And this guy was in his 70s. This devotee was in his 70s. So what Sankaracharya said to him was, "Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate. Samprapte nahi na. Some Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate." How does the second line go? Mudamate. I say basically saying, "Oh Mudamanas. Samprapte sanhite nahi nahi rakshati sukrita karane." Yeah. Thank you, Rupa Mataji. Samprapi sanhite kale nahi nahi rakshati sukrita karane. Which means stop, because Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindu Naam Lio, just chant the names of Hari, chant the name of Krishna. That is what's going to help you. Because when Antakale, when the death comes, this Sanskrit grammar is not going to help you. What's going to help you is the Lord's mercy and Lord's remembrance. Antakale chamameva smaran mukpa kalevaram. If you remember the Lord, you will succeed in this life. But if you remember the Sanskrit grammar, it's not going to take you anywhere. So I suggest just let's focus on this. Try and read the verses that are written. Try to understand, to learn how to read them, and then learning of some of the words will come automatically. Yeah, does it make sense, everybody? Madhu Kumari?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Yes, maybe one day you could also talk about the diacritics, how we pronounce her like that. Someday, whenever you get the chance.
Certainly, yeah.
Because I think reciting the verses is very important, and everybody likes to know how to recite, and it's not difficult.
Yeah.
It's not like, we have learned Sanskrit and you have taught us, all of us, how to recite this, so you can teach the other group members also.
Yeah, so we can go through that one time when we have time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please look after yourselves and pray for everybody.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. It was really wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vishal Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rumila Ben, Hare Krishna. Who did they say?
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Pramila Mataji. Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Divya Gauranga Mataji. Actually, Divya Gauranga Mataji can teach us all how to pronounce.
No, not at all, Prabhuji.
Her pronunciation is so nice.
No, I learned from you all senior devotees, Prabhuji. Just hearing you all over the years, that's how I learned. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for a beautiful class.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Rita
Thank you.
Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Bol. Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.